everybody. This is Christy. Welcome to my podcast. I live in Louisiana. This is a crafty podcast all about crochet and cross stitch and knitting and some sewing. So if you're new here, please subscribe. And if you've been around a while since my channel name change and through all the, gosh, I've been making videos on YouTube for probably 4 or 5 years. Not consistently here lately, but I'm trying to get back in the swing of it. So if you've been here, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. I hope everybody is staying safe, staying healthy, following social distancing guidelines. It's been tough. If you hear my dogs in the background, I apologize. They're not too happy with me right now. I didn't let them come in here because, as you can tell from just what you can see, this room is a mess. This is my office slash craft room slash catch-all, you know, and so it's a little bit of a mess, but hopefully soon I'm gonna have my guest bedroom back, and I'm gonna move my office stuff into there. So we're fixing to have a shake up in the next few months in my craft room, and I'll bring you along and show you what it looks like when I get done with it. I'm super excited because this table that's right here on the side of me is my sewing table, and I can only open it up part of the way. I don't have enough room on this wall, so we're gonna get with it and get it straightened out and hopefully a lot neater. And you know, being home, not being able to go anywhere, I have slippers on my feet, and this is the hairdo that you get. My hair, oh my goodness, it's been it was already beyond needing to go get something done with it, and now it's really bad. Like, I've resorted to trimming it myself, and I don't know, I've been putting toner in my hair, and I bleached it once myself because I haven't had highlights in a long time, and I don't know. I'm tired of fooling with it. I think I'm fixing to just let it grow out, and whatever's gray or white, just be gray or white. I don't know. I always say that I want to do it, and then I don't want to commit to it. So I haven't decided yet. But anyway, apologies for the hairdo. This is my regular routine these days. I haven't been working for a couple years anyway, because long story anyway, and we've been out of state, and when we moved back home, my mom's elderly, so I take care of her, I take care of my grandchildren sometimes. So and now my husband's laid off, which I know a lot of people are. It's tough. It's really tough. So you know, my prayers just go out to everybody that's struggling right now. So enough of that. I'm going to try to not make this too long because I'm not home alone, and getting quiet time is tough these days. And since I'm really late, I mean, it's mid-April already, and I really wanted to get this done at the beginning of the month. It's just been one thing after another. If you watched my video, the last video that I posted, I was just getting finished being sick. And truthfully, I think I may have had it. I had a lot of shortness of breath, and you know, I never had to go to the hospital, thank goodness. It was right before everybody started having to do the social distancing and everything getting shut down. And so I've had to stay away from my mom, which has been difficult, and other family members. But so far, we've had a few family members get tested, but nobody has been positive. So I'm thankful for that, and for wherever you are in the world. I pray that you're healthy. So since the last time I podcasted, I'll just go through things that I have finished. And I guess since it's right here in front of me, I'll start with cross stitch. So I was working on Monroe the Mouse from Stacy Nash Primitives. I just pulled yarn from my stash, and I did it on a piece of tin roof linen that I did the Henrietta on. I'll quickly show you her. I finished this one I showed this one in my last video. So she's finished, and I had enough of this piece of linen left to do Monroe. I did not use, the only thing that's the called for color is his whiskers, the black, and the color of his fur. The rest of it, I just pulled colors that were close from my stash. And this, I'll try to get a little closer, the button, I had bought a card of antique milk glass buttons a couple of years ago, and that's one of them. I knew that eventually I would find a place to use it. I have 2 more of these to do. I don't remember what I have. I have Clementine the cat, and I think I have the bunny. I was going to go ahead and sew these and stuff them. I'm sure that I have some fabric in my stash that I could use for the backing. But since my craft room is such a mess right now, I think I'll wait until I get everything situated to do that. So that is all of the cross stitching that I have. And sorry, I just sort of left, this is my podcast bucket. I just sort of left it up here and haven't really gone through it. I've forgotten what I put in here, to be honest with you. I wanted to show all of my blankets that I have in the house. I didn't bring them back here today on purpose because we've had some really beautiful weather, but my son is moving in next door and there's some construction going on right now. It's loud outside. I really want to film outside, so I think I'm going to bring my blankets outside one morning when we have a quiet day, and I'll film those out there. But I did have a chance to do some sewing last month in March, and I have made 2 bags. They're exactly the same as far as the style of bag, but I just was feeling really springy and wanted to make some drawstring bags. So these are 2 drawstring bags, and they just have, I made my pocket a little smaller than I would have liked, but each of them have a pocket. I'll show you the other bag in a minute. And this one has pink polka dot lining. It's just a bag. I like the drawstring kind for knitting and crochet because there's no zipper to get caught in it. And I had actually, I'm not a big fan of this yarn. It's really slippy, and I don't know how it's going to do for a washcloth, but I have some of this Kobu yarn. It is, what's it made out of? It's cotton rayon blend. And I literally just did, I don't even know what the front and the back is. This is the front. I literally just did like 4 rows of this pine cone washcloth from, the designer is Sandra Paul. She has a podcast on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel called Cherry Heart. I've had this pattern for a couple months, and if you watch my last video, you know I tried my hand at some knitting, and I do have some more knitting to show, but I wanted to try that yarn and make some crochet ones that I could knock out a little quicker than it takes me for the knitting ones. But honestly, I had literally like 10 minutes to get started on it, and I never picked it back up. I got busy with something else, but I wanted to show you the bag. And here is the other bag I made. It has hedgehogs on bicycles. I mean, how cute is that? In this bag, I have the yellow is the yellow's the lining too, and I'll show you what is in this bag in a minute. So that's all the sewing I have to show this time. Let's do knitting next, because I pulled 2 shawls. I'll show that too, because I pulled it before when I was going to try to show you some of my past finishes. Knitting. I did practice my knitting, and this one came out much better. My tension was better. This is some, I believe, this is Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. There are a few mistakes in it that I see, but overall, much better than my last attempt. And then I had some peaches and cream cotton. I really don't like that cotton, but in an effort to make use of some stash and not spend any money, I made a gray one. And you know, I mean, it's fine for a washcloth. I don't think I missed the way that this pattern is knitted like this. It makes, I haven't washed either one of these yet, but it makes it distorted kind of. It's not perfectly square, but it's the same amount of stitches. I did count my stitches. So it looks better, much better than my first one. And I haven't made a video since I found out about this, but Blueprint, whatever used to be Craftsy, is it Blueprint now? I think it is. All their online classes have been free and are free for, I think, maybe till the 15th. I'm not sure when this video is going to get posted. Today is the 14th, so no, I think till the 16th. So I watched a knitting class. I learned how to fix some mistakes. I learned some things I didn't know, and I'm going to cast on it. I wanted to cast on one of the projects in the class, but I don't have the right size needles, and I won't be making any purchases anytime soon with my husband being laid off. So I'm going to, though I did find a free pattern on Ravelry for a cowl, and I have, I believe, the right size knitting needles for that. So I'm going to cast that on, and I'll hopefully have, if not a finished one, at least enough to show. In fact, it's behind me on this chair. I have a practice piece of knitting that I started with when I started this class, and I practiced, I really could pull this off, but I practiced some stockinette, some just pearls. I was going to practice some ribbing, and I just haven't gotten that far yet. But my pearl stitches, you can see, especially down here, are so, my tension is so loose when I'm purling. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to find a better way to hold my yarn. And then you can see right here, I believe I twisted that stitch when I was doing some stockinette. But overall, I'm pretty proud of that, considering I haven't put a ton of time in on it. And the times when I have been working on this, I've been sitting outside on the porch with my grandchildren. So I haven't exactly been, you know, 100% concentrating on what I'm doing. So I'm pretty proud of that. And this bag, while I have it out, I am such a toile fan. I love this bag. The inside is like a satin, and I think this is like a light upholstery fabric. I got this bag a couple of years ago from Cushy Couture, which I don't think they have any listings right now on Etsy, but that's where it came from. But I'm going to use this bag as a pattern. It's really convenient to take it outside, and then I'm sure all of you already knitters and crocheters know what these kind of bags do. But when you fold it down and you put the handle underneath it, then you have an open bag to do your work in, or it can hang from the arm of a chair. So, excuse me, I really like this bag. I use it all the time. And so as soon as I get my sewing room back together, I'm going to try to make me a few of these with whatever fabrics I have in my stash. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my list. I believe that's it, except for crochet. So let me show you these two finishes, because I pulled them already, and they were shawls. They're the only two other shawls that I haven't ever given away. This, I do not have the pattern for right off. This is called the Valentina shawl. I ran out of yarn for the border. The border should probably be about twice as big as it is, but I didn't have enough of that color, which was fine. I love this shawl. I can't, off the top of my head, remember the name of the designer. Lucia's Fig Tree, I believe. But if you look up Valentina shawl on Ravelry, you will see it. Like I said, it's a beautiful shawl, and this yarn, I'm trying to think. It was the Stylecraft yarn, whatever she used in her shawls. What I didn't use the same color, but it was their, I can't remember, I'm sorry. So not prepared for this today, but I really wanted to get it up. I used 2 different colors. This striping, it did on its own, I believe. It's got some wool in it, was what I was trying to say. But it's a crescent shawl. So it starts off small and you increase, and then you start decreasing. I do love it. This pattern, again, I made several years ago, and it was the first time that I crocheted something with these kind of increases and decreases, and I made, I think, a few mistakes. It was the hardest pattern then that I had ever read and tried. There's nothing wrong with the pattern, it was me. But this yarn, because of the wool content in it, is really hard to frog. So there are a few mistakes with the increases. Like I had to restart, and so I don't think, I was making some mistakes and I restarted it, and I don't think I made it quite as big as the pattern called for, because it's really big. And then, like I said, I ran out of this color. I did not have a whole ball of this color that I used for the border. So the border was probably supposed to be twice as big as this one, but either way, I actually got this out of the camper when we were up north. I wore it a lot and really liked it. And then this one was made with the Shapey Swirl. Gosh, I'm sorry. I made this one. Got a fuzz in my mouth. I made this one a long time ago too. And this was all, I was wondering if I had a whirl around here to show y'all. I do not. Well, it's a big cake of yarn that it goes through all these colors. There are tons and tons of choices. If you have any questions about it, just leave a message, leave them down below, and I will look it up. I will look it up and find out which one this was. But I didn't change skeins of yarn in this. The ball of yarn changed itself. And this pattern, I don't remember the name of either. But again, if you have any questions about it, I will leave it. I know I put it on Instagram and I put what the pattern was, and I'll look it up and I'll put it down below. So just let me know if you want to know what either the yarn was or the pattern, and I'll let you know. This pattern was the super easy pattern. And again, I really love this shawl because this yarn is a cotton. I don't know if it's 100% cotton or a cotton blend, but it's great for the weather that we have here because, you know, we don't have a ton of super cold weather in Louisiana. So those are 2 finishes from the past that I had to show. And the crochet things that I have worked on since the last time I podcasted, you'll remember that I showed you this old, I started it last summer, this whip, which was Indian Roses blanket. And I had one, excuse me, I had one block already done. I pulled out, I believe I need 13 of those blocks for the main part, and then some triangles, and then I think 4 quarter triangles. So a bridge, I had all, after I did that first one, I started just an assembly line, and I would do one color, one row, however it was in the pattern at a time on each of the blocks. So when I showed them to you last time, I had 13 of this is what it looked like. I just had the flower part in the middle done. So since then, I finished all the way up to this teal blue row. It looks a little funny because, you know, it's not blocked yet. So I don't have, I'm up to right below this turquoise row. It's really hard to see. I don't have that much more left to go, and I'll be finished with all 13 of these blocks. Here's a bunch of them. They're all done. All the ends are woven in. I'm going to finish these other rows, and then the main part of the blanket will be finished, and I'll just have the triangles to do and the corners to do, and then put it all together. So this is the next color I'm working on. That is, when I bought that blanket, I got the kit, so all of the yarns are wool or wool blends, and I love it. I've really enjoyed working on it. It's a great pattern. It's so easy to follow. My only complaint is someone from America is that it's in British terms and not US terms for the crochet, and so you have to be thinking about what you're doing, because you know, a double crochet in British terms is a treble, so, and a single crochet is a double, so you have to kind of be thinking about what you're doing. But once you get the groove of it, it goes along pretty easily. So I spent quite a bit of March working on that, and then I have been, kids are out. I don't know about where you live, but we just found out today that they won't be going back to school here, and all of my grandchildren are in elementary school, so I've been keeping them off and on. We've all been kind of trying to still do our social distancing, but some people, I have family members that are in the healthcare industry, and my stepdaughter and my daughter-in-law, so they, you know, they have to go to work. They don't have a choice. So I've been helping them out, you know, keeping the kids when they need me. So I thought that is a little too much thinking to be trying to work on that pattern while I have young children that I'm trying to watch. So I pulled out, I pulled together my bag of scraps of acrylic yarn from the blanket projects and other projects I've done, and put them all in a big bag, every color that I had. And I try not to be too, I don't know if thoughtful is the right word, but I try not to obsess too much about what colors I pick out, and I decided just to start a scrappy blanket. It is just double crochet. I don't have to think about it. I'm just pulling colors. Not every yarn, this last row is making it pull out a little bit, because this last yarn, I remember making a baby blanket with this a few years ago, probably about 3 years ago. And it is a 4-weight yarn, and I think everything else I've used is thinner than that. But it's okay. It's just meant to be a scrappy blanket. It'll all come together. It's just 2 rows of double crochet, and then 2 like a granny stripe rows. So I'm trying, you know, like I said, I'm just using stuff that I have and trying not to think too much about my color placement or worry too much about it. This will be my, quote, ugly blanket. It doesn't look too bad so far, I don't think. But it will be my ugly blanket. And so I suspect that I won't start up anything new right now, since our lives are in such turmoil. I'll just continue working on this and working on my Indian Roses blanket for next month or the rest of this month until I podcast again. I did pull. I was really, really disappointed that I would not be able to do the fruit garden crochet along while it's running and keep up with everybody else, because number one, I'm not buying anything right now, and Wool Warehouse, I really wanted to work with the new Stylecraft Naturals yarn, which is cotton bamboo blend, and you can't get it here in the States, and no one from England is able to. Nobody has the colorway in stock right now that I wanted to use, and they can't ship to the US right now. So that's a project that we'll have to wait. But, you know, as you can see behind me, if you could see in that closet, you would be probably mortified. I have plenty of other things to do. So I printed a pattern that I've had, that I got this for Christmas. No, I don't remember when I got it, to be honest with you. I got it this year, though. And the designer is Emily Littlefair. It's called Floral Dreams. That's the pattern. And I have the yarn for this one. I printed it. I pulled just one color of the yarn to show you that it is the Stylecraft Special DK. I really enjoy working with this yarn. It's soft. It's I like the colors that it comes in. I haven't found an acrylic yarn that isn't super expensive. I like a 3-weight for starters. This is a DK weight, and I haven't been able to find anything really comparable in my area that comes in, you know, these colors. And this blanket was designed, and I guess her test crocheters did it in several colorways, but I really liked this one for the just clean and bright. I like the colorway. So I don't know. I don't think I'll be starting this, but I had put it in my podcast box because at the time when I was putting all this stuff together to make today's podcast, I thought I would be doing it. And I figured I'd show it to you anyway, but I don't think I'm going to be starting it right now, just with everything going on. And I guess that's it for crafting. I had a book in here that I was reading, an actual book. I couldn't tell you the last time I picked up an actual book. I have plenty of them, but I haven't read anything in a long time, but it's in my bedroom, so I'm not going to go get that right now. What else? And that's it for crafting stuff, I guess. I've been trying to catch up on some podcasts, but, you know, there's just been a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff on the internet that I have to take care of, and then by the time I'm finished with that, I'm done. It's been pretty frustrating, and I know it has been for everybody, so I'm just gonna keep a smile on my face and think happy thoughts for everybody, and pray that you're all doing okay. I meant to bring, I was watching Ollie and Bella. I love that podcast. Check her out. She does some crochet and knitting, and she's been podcasting, and she had, oh gosh, maybe a month ago or so, had showed a book. It's kind of a devotional book for women by Sarah Young, and I have that book, and I love it. It's really inspirational, especially with the tough times that everybody has been going through here lately. And I meant to bring it back here because I was going to read something out of it, but I'll do it when I do my blanket video, which I think I'll try to do the blanket video one day next week, because it'll be pretty short. I don't have that many to show, And I think I might go out to the camper and do it out there, because I have a couple of blankets in the camper too that I'd like to show, and it's just parked in our backyard right now. So we might take a little road trip to the camper for the next video. I have literally hardly left my house. When this all first started happening, it was panic buying. Everybody was panic buying, and you couldn't get anything at the store. And I went ahead and bought some extra stuff for the freezer, and we're still working our way through that. And so I haven't really done hardly any grocery shopping. I've been practicing my bread making. If you look on my Instagram, which is the same name as my podcast, my channel name, I practiced making some no-knead bread and finally got it to come out. Yay! I'm so proud of myself for that. Not a huge gardener, not a huge baker, but I was pretty proud of myself for that. But before I go, the last little part, I was going to mention that on Netflix, I've been watching Anne with an E, and I really like it. I'm so disappointed that they won't be having season 4, but I'm going to finish what I think all 3 seasons are on Netflix right now, so I'm going to finish up those right now. And so if you have any recommendations or anything you've been watching, let me know. I'm going to close this up now because I hear my grandchildren here. There are people here. And I'm self-conscious, and they know I'm back here videoing. So I'm going to stop this right now, and hopefully I'll get this posted by tomorrow. Wishing you all good health and happier days ahead.